Down for real.
Alright guys, it's your boy FRORIDER, Fro to the O. I thought today I would do a little video on my gear, what I use, how I set it up. Alright, starting with the principles. The first thing you need is a helmet. So yeah, the helmet I'm using is a Nolan N64 in medium. I've had this helmet a while, I will be upgrading soon. Pretty standard helmet, got all the basics, little internal sun visor as well, which is a nice addition. Yeah, I've had this a while, does me proud, works fine. Whichever helmet you've got, you can work with from that. After the helmet, you need to look at what kind of camera you're going to want to be using. I'm currently filming on mine, but I've got the GoPro Hero 3 Black Plus. I'm filming on my camera at the moment because my DSLR is back in another house. Really good camera, works perfectly for me. Comes with the standard GoPro case. You've got to buy mounts and things, but we'll go through all of that in a bit. After camera, you need to look at microphones. I've got this, the Speedlink Spes. Got it on Amazon for about £8, and it works like relatively well. I've not got any big faults with it. No problems with it. And in addition to the microphone, you are going to need a windshield of some form as well. This is the windshield I use, little fluffy one, and this I actually made myself. I went to a little hobby shop, bought some fur felt stuff, and yeah, my lovely girlfriend decided to sew it all up for me, which was cool. Fits perfectly. Just this mic slides in, there's a little hole in it, slides in just like that, and then that just sits like that. Stops the wind basically messing up your audio. So yeah, that's what I use in terms of that. And finally, last but not least, this little cable here. This connects into the microphone port on the side of the GoPro, which goes in like that, and then connects onto your mic. So, mounting of your GoPro on your helmet. Being in England, I sit with it on the right hand side of my head here, due to the fact we ride on the left hand side of the road. So oncoming traffic comes past me here. So it obviously looks better from this perspective as opposed to being over here, which is further away from the traffic. There are many places you can mount a GoPro. I can't on this one, but a lot of people do tend to do it on the chin here. I've seen that quite frequently. With this helmet, it doesn't let me. On another helmet I have got it mounted there. Some people prefer a little bit closer to the front down here. Mine's right up on the side there. And some people do it on the top of the helmets up there. Completely up to you, whichever angle you prefer. It doesn't make a huge difference where you like to put it. It's just very much personal preference. In terms of mounting and the GoPro itself and the housing, I bought this housing on eBay, I believe, relatively cheap, because it came with this cutout here, and it means I didn't have to destroy my water housing. But yeah, this cutout is needed so that you can plug your cables in. I did have to file this down a little bit on the bottom. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, just to make sure it all fits. So yeah, I filed that down because this wouldn't fit in before. It was like that, just catching, and I couldn't put it in properly. After that, you got to use whatever mounts you need to mount it effectively. I use a few. I use this one, connected to this one, connected to this one, connected to the GoPro, and this works well for me. These are the screw fastenings as well, so you literally just tighten it with a screwdriver and then it's done, as opposed to just having lots of these poking around everywhere. When connecting it to the helmet, I have it tilted up slightly because obviously it can sit, the helmet sits facing down a touch like that, so you do need it pointing up enough to be able to see the road. And I also point it out a bit because I shoot on super wide, so being on super wide, it has to be able to catch everything, and I don't want too much of my helmet in, so I can afford to poke it out a little bit. I'll still have all of this in view, but it gets a nice wide angle. Moving into setting up the microphone in my helmet, this is basically how I set it up. My inner ear pad of my helmet, I loosen off like that. There's so many places in a helmet you can stick a mic, and it's totally up to you. I'll move my GoPro around so we can have a look inside. You could put it down here, right in the front of your helmet, but I find, for me, every time I breathe, it's like really loud and you can hear it and it's quite annoying. So I personally don't put it there. I put mine hidden up in where the strap comes out, my helmet strap. I put mine in the hole of my helmet strap, but I used to have it up here behind the cheek lining, just up there. But you can also put it right up to the back as well if you want, or to the other sides. It's completely up to you. Obviously I put it on this side as well, just for ease on mounting with this as well. Mounting of the microphone, very simply, I tuck it through my strap hole, like that. All of this extra wire, just push up inside the helmet, in the empty space, just out of the way really. And just make sure it's up enough so that you can close it back down later. When all that's tucked up in the empty space, you need to work out how much of this extra cable you need. This cable is the one that will connect to this cable. So I don't need so much. So again, I tuck it into the empty space as well, just like that. When that's done, you clip your helmet back in. Okay, so there we go. Cheek pad is clipped back in. Extra wire. Just continue to feed up. Out of the way. I don't know if you can see where my little mic is. Just there. But yeah, it's coming out of my cheek hole. So I just push it in a little bit more, so only the tip of the mic's pointing out. You don't need too much out, to be honest. Just enough. If I take the camera and try and show you inside. So I have it only just poking out of the strap hole. After this, it's the mounting of the GoPro. The GoPro goes on like this. You do have to plug this in first, like this. Once the GoPro is clipped on, just imagine it's all in there. I feed this down behind here and then into that. And then after, any excess you've got, you can simply tuck up and just leave that down the side like that. And that is my basic helmet setup. This is what I use to motovlog. Very simple. I do have some little extra bits on my helmet, like under this side, under this ear pad, I have attached a little speaker. If we can see that in there. But yeah, that's my basic helmet setup. And it works very well for me. So yeah, that's what I use. That's what works for me. That's how it's done, in my opinion.